Alright, so everybody recognizes this guy behind me, right? The sun. The source of all energy and life on Earth. But when we're talking about energy, how much energy does the sun actually produce that we can use? According to solarpowerrocks.com, this hour alone, the sun will emit enough energy to power 2,880 trillion light bulbs. That's like giving every person in the world, 7 billion people, their own light bulb, and telling them that it will burn for their entire life. And it will. So good evening, my name is Tessa, and I'm a sales representative from HE Solar LLC here in Austin, Texas. It is my job as a consultant to make sure your conversion to solar energy is efficient, easy, and stress-free. But I have one condition for all you homeowners out there. Hold your questions to the end, silence all your electronics, and if you have to leave at any time during my presentation, please do so quietly and respectfully to your peers. So, let's get started, guys. Before I actually begin to talk about how much solar energy can benefit you as consumers, I want to talk a little bit about what you're buying when you're buying solar energy. So it starts out with a solar photovoltaic cell grid system. I know that's a lot of big words, but photovoltaic literally translates in Latin to light energy. So all you're buying is the converter to make solar energy power your home. Our systems include premium aluminum ranking systems, stainless steel fasteners, and inverters from one of our manufacturers. The manufacturers that we offer are SolarWorks and SunPower, two brands that are critically acclaimed nationwide for their clean aesthetic and quality products. If you have more questions about this is all available on our website, hesolarllc.com, and I'll touch more on that at the end. So, solar power, it's a safeguard for your future, and I can tell you why. But first, I have a little bit of bad news. This year, the American Business Journal gave Austin a D on its report card. For all of those of you who are parents, I imagine that's pretty bad news, but that you'll want some context. So every year, the American Lung Association publishes a study on air quality in different counties in the United States. Travis County did great, except on our levels of ozone production. Our ozone pollution is primarily caused by the amount of carbon emissions that we have in the city. And high levels of ozone pollution often lead to severe health risks in the immediate sense. So things like wheezing upon breathing and more frequent asthma attacks. However, by switching to solar energy, that is one of the best ways to curb our city's emissions, and therefore, one of the best ways to ensure the safety and health of our families and our children. So it's not only a health thing. There are financial benefits to switching to solar energy. One of the main costs of solar energy is the initial installation, and that hovers around $30,000. And I know that that sounds kind of extreme, but there are a significant number of tax rebates and federal bonuses that you can qualify for, and I'll get to that more at the end. But really, the big thing is how much you're saving in the long term. So according to the Union of Concerned Scientists, in 2014, the lowest crude oil electricity price was found in Washington State at $9.37 per kilowatt hour. That's like a gross number to me, quite frankly. I don't want to be paying that much for my electricity. But by the beginning of 2015, solar electricity prices were at about $1.33 per kilowatt hour, and those prices are continuing to drop. Now, if you take a look at this map, you see that rainbow bar right there? I know for you, those of you in the back, you may not be able to see it, but this was actually published by a study done by the EPA and analyzed by Austin Energy. Texas is right here, in the yellow. Yellow means that we receive about 5 kilowatt hours per meter squared a day. That's a lot of energy that we could be harnessing for our own personal energy needs. Texas is actually in the optimum position, solar energy-wise, so there's really no reason that we would be manipulating our natural environment, like all of the fracking that goes on in West Texas, when we have all of our energy needs just coming down from the sky. Plus, if we look at the environmental comparisons between solar energy and traditional petroleum and gas fuel, you'll see that Texas is actually the largest energy producer and consumer in the United States. We emit over 440 million metric tons of carbon every year. That's a lot, and for a big state, it means even more. However, by switching to solar, we have the power to reduce that to 1/7 of the carbon dioxide emitted by natural gas plants and 1/20 of the carbon emitted by coal power plants. So the environmental savings are immense. Plus, there's a personal advantage to this, beyond the health advantages and the environmental advantages. Let's look at the economics. Here in the United States, we are eligible for over 100 different programs for tax credits and rebates. My favorite, however, is the 30% rebate on installation right here. That's a rebate offered by the federal government, which you can look at energy.gov, where they offer a 30% rebate on the installation. So that means every consumer of solar power is immediately eligible for a minimum of $9,000, making solar energy conversions actually cheaper than a new car. And finally, solar energy is something that allows you to be an independent energy consumer. Solar energy, it's run off a personal grid. It's decentralized. So you're no longer dependent on the city's power plant for energy. This means that if a power failure occurs, you're going to be independent of that, so your home is no longer at risk of that. Plus, let's talk about peak periods. Summer is when everybody's blasting their AC, and this is Texas, we know we all do it. This just means that your energy prices are going to go up. When you're running off your own personalized grid, your prices stay flat. So there's no volatility like there will be with natural gas electricity. Plus, with no recurring maintenance cost once your system is installed, you're no longer dependent on different technicians and contractors that might seek to take advantage of consumers in a specialized niche, like you are. So really, there is only a plethora of benefits to solar energy. By upgrading to solar, you're upgrading to a healthier, more economic household, dozens of tax reductions and rebates, a lighter carbon footprint, and a more independent and personalized power grid. And I have one last sweet deal about solar to offer you guys today. All of the free quote forms that y'all have sitting in front of you, when you hand those back to me upon your exit, you're going to receive a 10% discount on all of your materials upon installation. So aside from the 30% you're going to get from the government, the infinite amount of savings that you can get in the long-term rebates, you're going to get a 10% off on materials from us, making solar investment something that's not only natural, something you should get excited about. I know that I will be when my utilities are this low. So I want to thank you all again for being here today. Do I have any questions?